Long before the pyramids, long before Stonehenge, before the first cities rose from river valleys, there was a hill in southeastern Turkey hiding something impossible. Its name is Göbekli Tepe, and it may have rewritten the story of human civilization. For generations, historians believed they understood the order of human progress. First came agriculture, then permanent settlements, then organized religion, then monuments. That was the timeline. It felt logical. People settle down, they grow crops, they build villages, they create temples. Simple, neat, predictable. But beneath the quiet mound near the modern city of Şanlıurfa, archaeologists uncovered something that shattered that neat narrative. Massive stone pillars, carved with animals, arranged in enormous circular enclosures, and dated to nearly 12,000 years ago. That's roughly 10,000 BCE, at a time when humans were supposed to be small bands of hunter-gatherers, moving with the seasons, living in temporary shelters. And yet here stood monumental architecture. The pillars are T-shaped, some weighing 10 to 20 tons, carved from limestone using stone tools. No metal, no wheels, no draft animals, no written language, just human hands, coordination, and intent. The carvings are striking: foxes, snakes, scorpions, birds, wild boars, each animal etched with detail and precision, not random scratches, deliberate imagery, symbolic, intentional. And the scale is staggering. The largest pillars stand over 16 feet tall, positioned in circular arrangements, often with two larger central pillars facing each other, almost like figures, almost like guardians, almost like beings. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began major excavations in the 1990s, he quickly realized this wasn't just another prehistoric settlement. There were no clear signs of domestic houses in the earliest layers, no hearths typical of daily living, no evidence of farming at the earliest phase. Instead, the site appeared ceremonial, monumental, purpose-built, which led to a shocking possibility. What if religion came before agriculture? What if shared belief, not farming, was the force that pulled humans together into large, organized groups? Think about that. To quarry stone, to transport multi-ton blocks, to carve them, to arrange them in geometric precision, you need coordination, leadership, planning, division of labor, all before cities, all before fields of wheat. If hunter-gatherers built Göbekli Tepe, then our understanding of prehistoric society changes dramatically. Because we've long assumed complexity required farming, but this site suggests complexity may have preceded it. Some researchers propose large gatherings at Göbekli Tepe required reliable food supplies, which may have encouraged early experimentation with cultivation. In other words, the need to feed workers and pilgrims may have pushed humans toward agriculture. Religion didn't follow civilization, it may have created it. Excavations also revealed something else fascinating. The enclosures were deliberately buried, carefully filled in with soil and debris, not destroyed, not abandoned in chaos, intentionally covered. And then new circles were built on top, layer after layer, for centuries. Why bury something so monumental? Was it ritual renewal? Was it symbolic closure? Or protection? The answers remain uncertain, but the act itself implies meaning. Göbekli Tepe wasn't a temporary experiment. It was a sustained tradition, a sacred landscape maintained across generations. Radiocarbon dating confirms its incredible age, nearly 6,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza, twice as old as Stonehenge, yet far more ancient than anything historians once believed possible for its era. This discovery forced archaeologists to reconsider assumptions about early humans. They were not merely struggling survivors focused only on food and shelter. They had symbolic thought, artistic expression, spiritual frameworks, organizational power, and ambition. Ambition on a monumental scale. Some alternative theories suggest astronomical alignments, claims that certain pillars map constellations, that carvings record ancient celestial events, even comet impacts. While intriguing, most of these remain speculative. The strongest evidence points toward ritual and symbolic purpose rather than advanced astronomical engineering. And that's important, because the real wonder of Göbekli Tepe isn't aliens, it isn't lost high technology, it's human capability, human imagination, human cooperation. Without metal tools, these builders shaped limestone using harder stone tools. Without written plans, they maintained consistent architectural patterns. Without centralized states, they organized labor, which suggests leadership structures existed earlier than we thought. Social hierarchies, specialized craftsmen, ritual leaders. Something was compelling enough to motivate people to gather repeatedly at this hilltop, to build, to carve, to return, and perhaps to believe together. Another mystery remains. There is little evidence of permanent settlement directly at the earliest levels, which means people likely traveled there, pilgrims, seasonal visitors, drawn by something powerful. Imagine bands of hunter-gatherers walking across the landscape towards a sacred hill, gathering for ceremonies, sharing stories, strengthening alliances, exchanging knowledge. That changes how we see the Stone Age. It wasn't static, it wasn't simplistic, it may have been socially dynamic in ways we are only beginning to understand. And here is the deeper implication. If monumental religion predates agriculture, then the spark of civilization may not have been hunger, it may have been belief, shared myth, shared identity, shared purpose. Göbekli Tepe challenges the assumption that survival is humanity's only ancient driver. It suggests that meaning, not just necessity, shaped our path. As excavations continue, only a small portion of the site has been uncovered. Ground-penetrating radar indicates more structures remain buried, hidden beneath the earth, waiting. Each new discovery raises new questions. Why were certain animals chosen? Why are human figures rare but present? Why bury entire enclosures? And how widespread was this culture? Nearby sites show similar, though smaller structures, indicating Göbekli Tepe wasn't alone. It was part of a broader cultural shift, a transformation in human behavior, from small nomadic groups to organized communities capable of monumental expression. When we look at those towering T-shaped pillars today, we're not just seeing stone, we're seeing a turning point. A moment when humanity crossed an invisible threshold from simple survival to symbolic civilization. And perhaps the most humbling truth is this: for thousands of years, it sat hidden in plain sight. Local farmers knew of the hill, but its true significance remained buried until modern archaeology revealed it, which means history is still incomplete, still evolving, still capable of surprise. Göbekli Tepe didn't just add a chapter to human history, it rewrote the opening pages. It reminds us that progress is not always linear, that assumptions can collapse, and that ancient humans were far more sophisticated than we once believed. They didn't wait for cities to create meaning, they created meaning first. And in doing so, they may have built the foundation for everything that followed. The question is no longer whether early humans were capable. The stones have answered. The question now is, what else have we misunderstood about our beginnings? Because if a 12,000-year-old temple can hide beneath a quiet hill, what other chapters of history are still waiting to be uncovered? And what they reveal may change everything we think we know.